Today, I just want to share my top 5 tips with worship leaders. So if you're out there, you're a budding worship leader, you're just starting out, or you've been doing this for a while and you're thinking, what more is there? You want to explore ways that you can improve. And this is just 5 tips that come, to my mind. So many videos have been done, which I love what they've done. I just want to add my own 5 tips to this, and I hope it helps someone. So tip 1, grow your worship miles. Now, everyone knows that even pilots, say take plane pilots, have to fly about 1,500 hours of flights before they are granted permission to fly, solo. And in every profession, we grow, things get better over time. With the miles, sort of things get better with the miles. Like our worship experience gets better, we improve. And I'm not saying look for opportunities to lead everywhere on the big stage. No, I'm saying do this and practice it away from the stage, hidden away from human eyes, in your secret place. Grow your miles. We find, and this is like I'm no different. Like sometimes worship leaders want to improve, but we want to improve on the stage. We want to improve where the lights are perfect, where the band is perfect, where everything is in sync and the images look beautiful. But the real growth should happen away from sight, hidden away where it's just you and God, who is the subject of our worship. He's the one that our worship belongs to anyway. And it's a rare privilege to be given that title to lead, but you should learn to grow your miles. By that I mean spend time in worship and devotion. Make the mistakes there. Sing on key, sing off key, sing on the beat, sing off the beat. But the more you do it, the better you will become. Trust me, some things get better with the miles, and worship leading is a classic example. So this brings me to my point number 2. Come worshiping. Now, this gets overlooked so many times. Sometimes we want to get on stage and then begin to worship. No, it says come worshiping. That means we are already living a worshipful lifestyle. Like worship becomes for us a lifestyle. We're doing it anyway, and so when we get the call to say, come and lead, that's not the time we try to get in sync. We're already in sync. God inhabits the praises of his people. So in other words, he says, just like he says, pray without ceasing, we can also worship without ceasing. And worship is not really restricted to singing anyway. It's the reverberation of our hearts. It's the meditation. It's the focus of our living. All of our being can give worship, whether we're at our desks working or at our daytime job doing anything. So let's come worshiping. Let's not get there and then try to warm up into the worship thing. It should be a lifestyle, okay? When somebody asks you, what's your name? You don't go alphabets, A, B, C, D, O, Fred. No, you just say your name. Why? Because you've done it so many times, you don't even have to think about it. It's like walking, it's like reading, it's like talking. We've done these things so many times, but we were never born by default doing it. Babies don't have speech when they're born. They've got a language that's not English, or it's not whatever dialect they speak. Learning to walk, they have to do it in the first few months, or before they turn 1. So they learn these things over time. You and I have learned these things from repetitiveness, from repeating these things. So you and I need to also do this, if we intend to grow spiritually and grow in our worship ability. My third point is grow in your relationship with God and with the team of people around you. Growing your relationship with God and with the team of people around you. Now, I know a lot of spiritual worship leaders who are just one directional. As long as they're fine with God, they don't, care about whatever happens, horizontally. But that shouldn't be the way we operate. We're relational beings, and yes, God could be happy with us, but he also wants us to be at peace with everyone that we meet. Follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man can see God. So, how you relate with your team members is a reflection of how you're going to relate with God. And you have to take the time to grow spiritually and be an encourager to help them grow as well. Find out about how they're doing in their spiritual walk. And I know this is something that I even have to do a lot more of, because we're all growing. It's a journey. But I think that a good team, a good worship team, it's teamwork. It's great to hear one guy on his guitar leading worship, but if he has to do that every service, 3 times a week for 365, 552 weeks a year or 365 days in a year, he's going to burn out. But it gets better when there's a team around him, not just the guitarist, a pianist, a keyboard player, a drummer, another guitarist, vocalists, people to help carry the work. It becomes a lot easier, for that worship leader when there's a team around him. And so one aspect of this is you learning to grow spiritually, because if we don't know who the God that we're trying to worship, it becomes cliche what we're doing. We might as well just be singing in a circular concert, because there is a spiritual element to what we're doing. Worship, it's like singing songs is great, but there's a reason why we sing in the songs, and there's a who we are singing these songs to. And we need, as worship leaders, need to know this God. We need to know him more so that we can lead other people to where we are taking them. And that leads me to my 4th point, prayer. Now, prayer is the key that unlocks doors. Prayer also helps humble us, because for you to pray, you must believe that he is and that he is a rewarder of them who diligently seek him. You must also believe that you don't have all the answers, and that your prayer is an open, you're openly admitting that you're giving way to someone, to the God who can do all things. So in my own strength, I can't lead these people, but when I'm surrendered to you, I know that you can use me for your glory, and it's all about his glory anyway. So prayer humbles us. Prayer positions our hearts in a place where God can work with our hearts and use our giftings and talents and abilities, because guess what? He gave us those abilities anyway. And prayer is a place where we cultivate real spirituality, real spiritual growth. The prayer and the study of the word, they go hand in hand. When we know more about God and we commune with him, it becomes easy when we're standing in front of people to hear what he's stirring our hearts to say or stirring our hearts to sing. And it just makes the journey a lot easier when we learn to pray. You just surrender all and ask God to do what he has determined to do, because it's all about him. And that brings me to my 5th and final point. The 5th tip and final tip is be bold. Now, this might sound, you might think, oh, come on, that's a no-brainer. But trust me, the number of times I've seen, worship leaders with great potential stand behind the microphone and all of a sudden just become so diminished and so shy and so afraid. I've been there. I know what it feels like. The first time I sang to more than 10 people, it felt like, oh my God. And then to 500 people, it's like, oh my God, I can't do this. And then as the number gets bigger, you feel that need, you feel that adrenaline rush, like, oh my God, we're going to do this now. Are we going up? Help me, Lord. It's normal. And I even take those, those feelings of insecurity and make them into prayer notes, prayer opportunities. If this thing pushes me to pray, all the better, because when I pray, I get a sense of calmness, a renewed assurance that he's with me, that he hears it. It's his praise I'm going to sing anyway. And so when you get there, be bold, because guess what? All of the people that are in the congregation and the platform, no matter how many they are, they're also waiting in an expectation of what you're going to say, because they believe that you're part of God's family, just like they are part of God's family, and God's people are good anyway. They're not going to boo you off the stage. No, for the most part, church, and church-like gatherings are a very, safe place to explore. So even if you make a mistake, it's not a concert. Nobody's going to strike you off. Even the man upstairs, God Almighty, is not going to thunder down because you sang the wrong note. You're his son, okay? You're his daughter, and he's going to look after you. And he's pleased about you anyway, standing there and doing this, because you could be singing elsewhere. You could be doing a host of other things, but you've chosen to surrender and to get in line with what he's hoping and trying to do with you and through your life. So be bold. Seize the opportunity. When you feel afraid, it's fine. It's human. Fear is a human emotion. It's a normal response when you feel like you're out of your depth. And it just reminds you that you're human. And despite your fears, though, I need you to be bold. So the next time you get up there, you've done all the 4 steps, you get there, remember to be bold and then smile. All right, don't go up there being bold as a warrior. Smile. Enjoy the journey. You're taking people on a journey. You don't want to frighten them or scare them away. You don't want to look like you just wrestled a lion. You just want to be there enjoying the moment and creating something that they can be part of. I've been Olan. This has been the Worship Cafe. If you like this, please leave me a comment. I'd like to know what you think. Things that I've missed and I can also use. I'm on the journey as well, and I hope to get better as I go. Please also click the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the other side. God bless you.